And I think we're live now. Good to go for talking about some wintry weather to come.
Good to see everybody. We've got meteorologist John Burchfield along with meteorologist Chris Vickers here, and it is a happy Thursday to you. Great to see everybody. And John, we've got yet another Thursday that's going to bring some snow and ice back into the area. What's been up with the Thursday action?
A weekly tradition.
Fortunately, it's been that way. It started out really with the first Thursday of this month, right around Groundhog Day. And it's continued basically now with our final Thursday of the month. So here's what we're talking about. We do have some steadier snow. It's going to get ripping into the area, but this is going to be after, let's say, 5 to 6 o'clock. It will start to increase. Steadiest of that snow is going to be arriving and really picking up 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And the timing of this, John, gets a little tricky because we'll talk about what happens overnight tonight and then ending early Friday morning.
Yeah, good news is many folks will make it through the evening commute, at least tonight, in the clear. If you do have a later drive home from work or you work second or third shift, keep in mind that snow is going to be coming down pretty good later this evening. But it's really the Friday morning commute that we're focused in on when that snow is going to be on the ground, and we could see a bit of that wintry, icy mix as well.
So we're streaming on multiple platforms right now. Welcome everybody in that's on Facebook Live. We've also got our YouTube Live that is up and streaming as well. Seen a lot of people shouting us out. We've got, oh man, we've got Sharon from Bradenton, Florida. Sounds
jealous.
Sounds much warmer than what we're going to be experiencing. So, hey, it's great to see everybody. If you do have a few questions, I've got the comments kind of going here. So feel free to kind of just toss those into the comments. We'll do our best to get to them as much as possible. But a lot of people are probably wondering, all right, let's talk timing. Let's talk snow amounts with this.
Yep, really pretty much unchanged from our ongoing forecast the last couple days. We can jump straight into that hour-by-hour forecast to help you plan for this evening. We still have a couple more good hours before that snow really starts to come down, and it's after sunset that we're going to really notice conditions start to change very quickly.
So if we're talking 5 o'clock drive, 6 o'clock, maybe you're running around getting the kids from after-school sports practices, what do they have going on? Generally speaking, we're still going to be okay.
Should be
when
good.
do you expect, John, things might get a little dicey on the roads?
Really not until after sunset. We're talking 7 to 8 o'clock. That's when the snow is going to start to come down. And whenever it's dark outside, the snow accumulates a little more easily. So when the snow falls after sunset, road conditions can deteriorate. Although preceding this weather event, we didn't have rain for once, so we saw crews out pre-treating the road. So hopefully that makes a difference.
You probably noticed it's, you know, those parallel lines that the brine solution that they put down. So very thankful for our crews that have been hard at work. Hopefully that mitigates some of the travel issues, especially early this evening. But here's that clock toward 9 p.m. I think we're going to be in the midst of probably our steadiest snowfall at this point, and it's going to be pretty much the entire area steady snowfall. So it's just hours away really from arriving. Now it gets a little tricky, John, south of Toledo. We're looking really far south, generally south of Route 224. So south of Ottawa, Findlay, and Tiffin. That's where things get a little more interesting.
Yeah, we do get questions a lot. What does that pink color mean on the hourly forecast? That is that infamous wintry mix that we oh so often get around here, which may include, Chris, a little bit of freezing rain, even some sleet mixed in there as well. But in many ways, that icy mix can be even worse to drive on than the pure snow.
It can be, and it will come down a little bit like a sandwich. We'll get a layer of snow, then a layer of ice in a few areas, then topped off with a layer of snow again on top of that.
Not the kind of sandwich most people want to eat right now.
No, I don't think so. A winter cold sandwich. So there is a concern. I do expect Wyandotte and Crawford County, so along Route 30, Upper Sandusky to Bucyrus, those are some areas that could get up to 1/10 of an inch of ice. It's always difficult to conceptualize what 1/10 of an inch of ice is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a real itty-bitty amount of ice. That's actually a pretty significant amount of ice, anything 1/10 of an inch or more. It's not going to be bringing tree limbs or power lines down, so we don't have any concern about that, but it is certainly enough. It could glaze windshields over. It could really slicken driveways, parking lots, sidewalks, and some roadways that could allow for some ice accumulation on untreated roads.
Yeah, so through the evening hours, Toledo is going to be seeing some pretty steady snow, that wintry mix to the south end. And then as we roll into the overnight hours on the forecast, snow is pretty unrelenting. We may get a brief pop of snow right around daybreak, say between about 4 to 6, that comes down pretty good and causes roads to once again become snow covered. But the snow really ends pretty early in the day tomorrow.
Right around daybreak, maybe even a little bit before daybreak, west of I-75. And I think everyone's going to wake up to at least a couple, if not several inches of snow. Most areas 2, 3, some spots up to 4 inches of snow. And keep in mind, much of that's going to fall in about a 12-hour period from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So it's late tonight through overnight into tomorrow morning. So it'll be a tough call for those that maybe have to leave early for work tomorrow morning. That's why we issue these alert days, just saying, hey, we've got some inconvenient weather that's coming your way that's likely to cause disruptions, delays, and not out of the question, impacts to schools in the form of delays and or possible closures should districts make that choice tomorrow morning. Yeah,
exactly. It goes to show that those snowfall totals aren't everything. 2 to 4 might not sound like a ton of snow, but the timing of this going to make things tricky for that Friday morning.
We've got Laura with kind of maybe a little bit of off-the-wall question, but I saw it, so I'll answer it. What's the average temp this time of year? Right around 40 to 42 degrees.
Yeah.
So we're going to be colder than that the next couple of days, upper 20s and low 30s now through Saturday. So a great question on that. Glenn's given us a shout-out, says we're the best. Thank you, Glenn, for tuning in. Will there be snow-nado warnings?
Ooh.
Not going to happen. Although there's been some interesting things happening this week. There's been thunder, sleet. So I don't know if that was a comment in jest, but you never know how kind of crazy things have been.
Yeah.
And we've had a decent amount of lightning in some of these storms that have actually had wintry precipitation as well. We're not expecting that.
No.
I don't expect we're going to get any thunder, snow, or thunder sleet, but it will get slippery overnight tonight. Sue's saying she's got a doctor's appointment at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Here's the good news is I think things will improve pretty quickly tomorrow. So by noon on Friday, I really think widespread road conditions going to be in pretty decent shape. More clouds, a cool breeze, and thicker clouds. But
just keep in mind those neighborhood streets, side roads, parking lots may still be a bit slick and icy.
So what are we talking about, John? Why don't you break down the accumulation forecast here?
Yeah, compared to the last 2 Thursdays of snowstorms, this might not be anything to write home about, but it's the timing that is key. 2 to 4 inches, that's enough to snow coat the roads and to cause some tricky travel conditions. And we're really pinpointing the heaviest snow to fall to the north and west of the viewing area. And further to the south, that's where we saw in the hourly forecast a little bit more of that wintry mix and ice impacting those snow totals. And whenever you do get some sleet and freezing rain mixing in there, that does cut down on the snowfall, but it also can make things, like Chris was saying, that wintry precipitation sandwich where you saw 1 to 2 inches. So lesser snowfall, but a little bit more in the way of ice further to the south and southeast.
Hang in there if your video is freezing up just for a second. I just had to switch on over a different source. So here's what's coming our way, John. So if you open up, great opportunity, you open up the WTOL 11 weather app, and I encourage you, if you don't have that free download, go ahead and have it. This is what's rolling toward us. It's a pretty much a yucky mess of rain to the south. There's that icy mix right around Indianapolis and back up toward Lafayette, Champaign, and Chicago. That's where the steadier snow is. And that's going to really be on a course just to rip right up Route 24 and move directly into our area. And you can see just over the past 3 hours, it's made some pretty steady progress. I'm getting a couple reports of a few flurries in the Toledo metro. Not a surprise, just a little batch. That's not the actual storm itself starting, just a few flurries out in advance of that. There is the actual arrival of the storm.
Still right on track to arrive right after dark.
It is, and we issued this alert day. Actually, if you go back to Monday morning, the WTOL 11 weather team was on top of this one, issued the alert day saying, you know what, folks, we've got a storm system coming in. We know it's winter, but this is one that's going to bring some inconvenience to you Thursday night and into Friday morning, and I do expect it's just going to get icy and slippery. 2 to 4 inches of snow and up to a glaze or so of an inch of freezing rain as this system rolls in. So it is going to get slippery tonight. Fortunately, as John, you mentioned, though, the crews have been out there pre-treating. Yeah, hopefully that makes a big difference. And if you can stay in, give them time to clear off the roads. And hopefully by tomorrow, at least in the afternoon, we'll start to see some big improvements. Shirley's asking how much of an icy mix for BG. I think you're going to be more on the snow side of things. It would be nothing more than just a very minuscule trace of freezing drizzle that would occur down toward BG. I expect the better chance of any ice is going to be south of BG, a little bit closer to Findlay and over toward Tiffin, where areas even along that 224 corridor and south would have the better chance of maybe a couple tenths of an inch of ice accumulation. Yep, good question. Yeah, we got more. George is saying we've got snow at Reynolds and Dorr. Again, this is not anything that's expected to accumulate until we get to really more closer to 6 or 7 o'clock. But we will be covering that. We're about 50 minutes away from actually hitting the airwaves. John, talk about what you're going to be hitting coming up today at 5 on WTOL 11.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the hourly breakdown, whatever you got going, whether it's those evening plans with the kids, after school activities, or it's something tomorrow morning, like we got some questions about appointments and obligations tomorrow. We'll talk about the hourly timing and also the breakdown from north to south. You know, as we found out last week, it can make a big difference where you live. The forecast for Toledo is going to be a touch different than it is, say, for Upper Sandusky. And another cool feature of our app, I know we do promote it a lot, but this is a really neat feature. We update the forecast individually based on where you live. So if you're tuning in from southern Michigan, you'll get a slightly tweaked version of the forecast based on what we expect for your area. And if you live south of Toledo, you'll get a different forecast based on what sort of weather is set to impact you.
Comment coming in from Casey saying, do we expect school delays and closings? Again, that's not anything that comes from, the weather team. We just issue, obviously, the weather forecast. That's up to your very hardworking school superintendents to make that call. They're going to be making that call, of course, tomorrow morning. The thing I'll say about this system, the timing of it is tricky because, as you mentioned, John, our snow and the steadiest of that snow is going to be coming in after dark tonight. It's hitting us 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, even continuing through midnight. So I do expect, it just depends on how quickly those road crews are going to be working through the night. You know they're going to be out there working through the night. It also depends on how effective the pre-treatment has been on the roadways, and that snow wraps up. So here's the thing, we'll be very clear about this. Between 7 and 8 a.m., I expect most areas will be seeing an end to the snow. So if your alarm clock goes off 6:45, 7 a.m., you might pop out of bed to that fresh snow, but it won't be actively snowing. So that's where it makes it a really tough call for schools tomorrow. And that call for any delays or any closures solely on those school districts, but the potential is out there, and that's one of the reasons we issued that alert day. As a dad myself, I'm planning for my kids. If there's a snow day, how do we have to kind of shift things around? So just have the backup plans just in case there are some delays or closures. But again, you wake up to 2 to 3, some areas up to 4 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Well, we've got lots of comments coming in. Really appreciate everyone watching. We're busy getting ready for our 5 o'clock news coming up, and just wanted to pop onto Facebook Live and YouTube Live and give you all a very quick update on what is going on. We'll leave you with a live look at our radar and satellite picture, and here it comes. The snow is on its way, and we'll have full details on the timing, amounts, and also talk some of the icy conditions coming up on WTOL 11. For meteorologist John Burchfield, I'm meteorologist Chris Vickers. We'll see you guys live on air on WTOL 11 in less than 1 hour.
See you soon.